Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Purnamidasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Krishna. We'll continue our discussion. So here, King Priyavrata, he took up to worldly life and he made a great achievements. So I'll just share the screen with you. So he was not interested to. Initially, he was not interested to do anything. Later on, by the intervention of Brahmaji, he has to accept the throne. And then Brahmaji comes and gives very wonderful instructions how we have to obey the orders of the Lord. So this is the order of Lord, you have to obey. So he gives very quite interesting reasons. And then we see that Priyavrat Maharaj, he had a very good dynasty. Uh, he had 10 sons from the first wife. 3 became uh, Paramahamsas. They took celibate life, and then others, they are the names of Agni. So, and Urjaswati, she married to Shukracharya. Then from other wife, he precocted 3 sons who became 3 Manus in the further time. And then he ruled for 11 Arbuda years. And he made a parallel sun. Sun god is going in one direction, Privat Maharaj is following him. So Privat Maharaj was dissatisfied that sun only illuminated half the world at a time. So he circled Mount Meru on his brilliant chariot, moving at the speed of sun to create eternal daylight. So, and he said that he achieved this mystic power not through technology but through the worship of Supreme Lord. So, and this is what he created: 7 oceans, 7 islands, salt water, sugar cane juice, liquor, clarified buttered milk, uh, emulsified yogurt, and sweet drinking water. So to create so much of clarified butter, there is no need of so many cows. Lord can create without that also. So the rim of his chariot wheel created deep impressions in the earth that became the 7 oceans. So this is what happened. So we'll see further what exactly is further. What exactly he feels now. So while so excellently ruling the universe, Priyavrata was dissatisfied and he is chariot. Yeah. So next verse is, when Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, the rims of his wheel created impressions that later became 7 oceans, dividing the planetary system known as Bhumandala into 7 islands. So Prabhupada writing, sometimes the planet in the outer space are called islands. So this is in a it's in a uh, metaphysical level. So that's why some things which we cannot see, they are much more subtler than what is our understanding. So people get doubt, where is the seven oceans, seven islands? It is beyond our material vision. It is something, it is not spiritual, but it is what do you call, uh, it is little more subtler, that's all. Like say we cannot see our mind, so that means it exists, but we don't have access to see directly, but we know it exists, like that. So some things we can understand. So he says the names of the islands are Jambu, Plaksha, Sumali, Kusha, Karuncha, Sakha, and Pushkara. So Plakshadvipa is where Govardhan was born. Dronachal Parvat was Plakshadvip. So people want to go to moon and get the stones from moon, stones from Mars. But we have from the other planetary systems, Govardhan is not from this earthly planetary system, it is from Plakshadvip. So each island is twice as large as one preceding it, and each is surrounded by liquid substance beyond which is the next island. So this is how Priyavrat Maharaj calculated and made it. He did not just do randomly, he had certain calculations. And it is said that the ocean in each planetary system has a different type of liquid. How they are situated is explained in the next verse. And the seven oceans respectively contain salt water, sugarcane juice, liquor, clarified butter, milk, emulsified yogurt, and sweet drinking water. Now, how did this come in that? That is not explained. All islands are completely surrounded by these oceans, and each island is equally in breadth to the island that is it surrounds. Maharaj Priyavat, the husband of Queen Barishmati, gave sovereignty over these islands to their respective sons, named Agnidhara, Idmadvaha, uh, Ajanaba, Hiranya Reta, Grita Prashtha, Medatita, Vitihotra. They all became kings by the order of their father. So he wanted to give property to his son. So that is why he divided it like that. That was the calculation. That he is dividing it uh, based on this. Uh, their sons are seven, so he thought, okay, three of them anyway took sannyas, so I had to divide the property among the remaining seven sons. If we would have 10 sons were interested in ruling, then he would have made 10 parts maybe. And so it's a good planning. So it is understood that all the dvipas or islands are surrounded by different types of ocean. It is said herein that the breadth of each ocean is the same of that of the island it surrounds. The length of the ocean, however, cannot equal to the length of the islands. According to Viragvacharya, the breadth of the first island is 1 lakh yojanas. 1 yojana equals 8 miles, and therefore the breadth of the first island is calculated to be 800 miles. The water surrounding it must have the same breadth, but its length must be different. That is obvious because it is in a circular form, so it should have a different length. So then he says King Priyavrata gave his daughter Ujaswati in marriage to Shukracharya, who begat in her a daughter named Devyani. So, and this is very important because from Devyani, the dynasty, she marries Pururava, and then there is then the dynasty further goes, Edu Vamsha and all these things comes. So they are directly connected to, Ayati. Okay. So it is she marries Ayati, and from Ayati comes the Edu Vamsha and Kuru Vamsha. So here Priyavrat Maharaj is doing a great contribution. By the daughter is connected to the lineage of Pandavas and Lord Krishna. So Priyavrata Maharaj has a connection because in his daughter's lineage, Lord Krishna is going to appear and Pandavas also. So in that way, it's something special. My dear king, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of Lord can transmigrate the influence of the six material waves, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death, and has conquered the mind and five senses. However, this is not very wonderful for a pure devotee of the Lord, because even a person beyond the jurisdiction of four castes, in other words, an untouchable, is immediately relieved of bondage to material existence if he utters the holy name of Lord even once. So this is the now Sukadeva Goswami is directly talking to Maharaj Parikshit now. He told till now the story of Priyavrat Maharaj, but then he started telling about this king, because he saw that he is doing such wonderful activities. Then it looks like he must be completely entangled. But Sukadeva Goswami immediately telling Parikshit, wait a minute, he is not affected. So this is very wonderful for a pure devotee of Lord. Even a person beyond the jurisdiction of four castes, in other words, is immediately relieved of bondage of material existence. So Sukadeva Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit about the activities of Priyavrat Maharaj, and since king might have doubts about these wonderful uncommon activities, Sukadeva Goswami reassured him. My dear king, he said, don't be doubtful about the wonderful activities of Priyavrata. For a devotee of Supreme Lord, everything is possible because the Lord is known as Urukrama. Ukrama is the name of Lord Vamana, who performed wonderful activities. Lord Vamana requested 3 pieces of land from Maharaj Bali, and when Bali Maharaj agreed to grant, Lord immediately covered the entire universe in his 2 feet. So that's why Lord's name is Urukrama, who performs wonderful activity. Chalayasi Vikramane Baliyat Mutavamana Padanakhana Rajanati Janapavana Keshavadrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. All glories to Lord Krishna, who assumed the form of a dolphin. So this is about Vamandev. So Lord is performing wonderful activities, Urukrama. So here also his wonderful activities are what? The devotee is always protected, no matter wherever, whatever he is doing. Since the Supreme Lord is all powerful, he can do things that seems wonderful for a common man. Similarly, a devotee who has taken shelter of Lord can also do wonderful things unimaginable to common man. So Parikshit Maharaj must be surprised. How can somebody create islands and oceans? And then Sukadeva Goswami is telling, Arey, Lord is Urukrama. His devotees are also Urukrama. They also can do wonderful activities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore teaches us to take shelter of the lotus feet. Ainanda tanujakim karam patitam mam vishame bhavam budho kripaya tava pada pankaja sitadhuli sadusham vichintaya. So this is how Lord is telling us to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us to take shelter. Because of material body, every living entity in material existence is always disturbed by 6 gunas: hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, invalidity, and death. Furthermore, another Shad guna are the mind and 5 sense organs, not to speak of sanctified devotees. Even a Chandala, an outcast, who is untouchable, is immediately free from material bondage if he utters the holy name of Lord even once. Sometimes caste Brahmanas argue that unless one changes his body, he cannot be accepted Brahmana. But that is because since the present body is obtained as a result of past actions, one who has in the past acted as a Brahmana takes birth in the Brahmana family. So this is a proper logic and very valid logic also. But therefore they contend without such a Brahminical body one cannot be accepted Brahmana. Herein it is said, however, that even a Vidhura Vigata, a Chandala, a 5th class untouchable, is freed if he utters the holy name even once. Being freed means that he immediately changes his body. Sanatan Goswami confirms. Yata kanchanatan yati kamasyam rasha vidhanataha tata diksha vidanena dvije tvam jayate nrinam. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas. That a person, if he chants, if he takes initiation by a pure devotee into chanting of the holy name, his body changes as he follows the instruction of spiritual master. Although one cannot see how his body has changed, we must accept on the grounds of the authoritative statement of the Shastras that he changes his body. That's all. This is to be understood without argument. This verse clearly says, Sa jahati bandham. He gives up his material bondage. So this body is a symbolic representation of material body according to one's karma. Although sometimes we cannot see the body, gross body changing, chanting the holy name of Supreme Lord immediately changes the subtle body, and because the subtle body changes, the living entity is immediately free from material bondage. So this is the logic. What Prabhupada is trying to tell from here, I will try to explain. See, what is told is like so here we have, according to our prarabdha karma, we got a body. Now, in this body we have two sections. So, this body is having two sections. One is subtle body and one is gross body. And another is gross body. So, now the argument is that because even the gross body will make us do activities in a particular way. So, subtle body is actually what decides how the gross body looks. So, subtle body decides gross body. Because this prarabdha karma, it actually is in the subtle body. So, based on, if a person's consciousness is of a dog, his gross body is like a dog. If he is like a human being, his gross body. So, subtle body is deciding gross body. If a person's consciousness, so this is based on consciousness. So, consciousness decides the gross body. That's why yam vapi swaram bhavam trijantante kalebram tam te me veviti kaunte sada tad bhava bhavita. Sada tad bhava bhavita means whatever state of consciousness you have, you get the body accordingly. That is clear, right? Now, when we are taking to bhakti, so now what we are doing? We are changing the consciousness. So the argument of the people is that okay, you already have a consciousness of a Shudra. Consciousness of Shudra. And then body is also, body will be of Shudra. Right? So now they say that how can you convert a Brahmana, a Shudra into a Brahmana? He's already got a body of a Shudra. So our argument here, it is what Prabhupada is telling is, body is a symbolic representation of material bondage according to karma. That we are accepting. According to prarabdha karma, body is a symbolic representation. Although sometimes we cannot see the gross body changing, chanting the holy name of Lord immediately changes the subtle body. So chanting is changing what? Subtle body. You understand? So then, because it is changing subtle body, the living entity is immediately free from material bondage. So change of gross body are conducted by subtle body. See here Prabhupada writing. After destruction of gross body, the subtle body takes the living entity from his present body to another. In the subtle body, the mind is predominant, and therefore, if one's mind is always absorbed in remembering the activities of lotus feet of Lord, he is to be understood to have already changed his present body and become purified. Therefore, it is irrefutable about that a Chandala or any fallen or low born person can become a Brahmana simply by the method of bona fide initiation. So here chanting is changing the subtle body. Even though gross body looks the same, it's a body of a Shudra only. But because the subtle body changed, so immediately we should consider, because it is not what externally you are seeing, it's the internal state that is important. So it is not external body that is important, but the state of consciousness. So this is a very simple understanding. So it's a Brahmana may not be Brahmana by birth, but consciousness he can be Brahmana. He will not be eligible to. He is eligible to do yajnas, but he will not do it because that is it is not according to social convention. That means he will not be immediately made to do. But he is qualified more than that because his consciousness is qualified. Lord that does not see the external things. It is what is internal matters more. That is very important to understand. So our chanting and all, it's not an external ritual that matters. It's the internal state that matters. Because Lord is going to hear that. The state of consciousness is very important. Like I'll give an example. I will explain these things. Yesterday we were discussing on this important point. Say if somebody is chanting, somebody is going to temple of Lord. Say they came to Vrindavan. Now they are praying. Now when I am speaking to you, you are able to hear me. And now I am speaking something in my mind. Okay, when will be Prasadam, what Prasadam is there. I may be talking in my local language or English or Hindi or Telugu or whatever language I know. I may be talking in my mind. You will not be able to hear that. Now, but there is some language I am talking. When I go to temple, I start offering prayers to Lord. I offer in my own language. Now there are so many devotees coming from different countries to Vrindavan. They are offering prayers, and everybody must be offering prayers in their language. How can Lord understand so many languages? He has to go through the dictionary and learn all these things. No need, because that language is the language of heart. Language of heart. So this is actually what Lord hears. That means He is hearing what? Our feelings and emotions. That's why when we chant, it is not the external sound that matters. It is the feelings and emotions that matters, because Lord will only hear this. How many times did I pray when I chanted today? How many times did I had a feeling when I was chanting today? So that actually counts for our chanting. It is not how much external sound we made. We might have vibrated, we might have created sound in a whole of our house, but that does not matter, because Lord does not see that. Lord sees how much feelings you had, how many emotions you had. Because Lord, it's not about the language, it's about the heart, right? That means what Lord is saying, Lord is more bothered about. Lord is bothered about. Lord is bothered about what? He is bothered about the consciousness. So if you are in a prayerful consciousness, humble, grateful, and all these good qualities, then immediately change. So it is not now. He is not bothered about the body, external actions. See, external actions and body are important to develop that mood, but important is the mood. Like, say, if I am sitting in a crowded railway station and I am chanting, so that external environment will affect me. But if I am sitting in a temple and then there are nice lamps are lit and nice incense are played and everything neat and clean and there are proper rituals, so these are to help our mind to focus. That's why rituals are important. Externals are important to help us to focus, but they themselves are not just they are on its own, they are not much on alone. So consciousness is very important. So chanting, we are trying to develop that mood, the consciousness. So 16 round is not what is it is just a regulation, and more important is the consciousness, right? So why I am telling is here what Lord is interested in consciousness, not bodily. You are a body of a Shudra or body of a Brahmana, all these things does not matter for Lord. What matters for Lord is the consciousness matter. So we have to understand this aspect very clearly, that I have to here. That's why the principle is okay. No, you may be born anywhere, but change your consciousness, you are elevated, and that's what Prabhupada is trying to prove. While enjoying his material opulence, now Priyavrat Maharaj gets realization. This is the important part of this first the chapter. After doing everything, people will say, "Oh, Priyavrat also took up family life and he also did so many things." Yeah, he did. But after doing it, what realization a person is getting, that matters. And many people get realization, but that does not transfer into application part. Like, we all have realization that this material world is a place of suffering. Who don't have realization? We all have. But will it help us to focus on Krishna and chant holy name? That does not happen. Why? Because the main reason, like, people have realization, but it does not transfer. So, like, realization, the suffering, material world is place of suffering. But will it transfers into the what do you say, into sadhana? No, it does not happen. We see what Maharaj prayed. While enjoying his material opulence with full strength and influence, Maharaj Privat once began to consider that although he has fully surrendered to the great saint Narada and was actually on the path of Krishna consciousness, he had somehow become again entangled in material activity. Thus his mind now becomes restless and he began to speak in the spirit of renunciation. So people know this place is suffering, but they don't get renunciation, uh, and no intensity in sadhana. So people know that place of suffering, but we don't have the real renunciation is not coming, and intention in sadhana is also not coming. Some of you agree with this? No. This makes sense? That I know Prabhuji, it is suffering, material world, I have to go to spiritual world, but somehow caught up only here. How many are agreeing? Only 2 are agreeing. Remaining on you are not agreeing with this statement. If you are not agreeing, then I will not explain this. We'll go to the next topic. If you are agreeing with this, then I'll explain. I'll give the solution for it. If you are not agreeing, no solution. What is my point, you see? Material world is a place of suffering. We all know it. But why I am not getting renunciation? Why my intensity of sadhana is not coming? For Priyavrat Maharaj it happened. But for us it is not happening. So I am just asking, if you all agree with it, then I will tell. Because devotees did not agree with this point, I will skip it. We will take next point then. So here we will see what Prabhupada is telling. Tektva sadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan napakkota pate tato idi yatrakva budrabhuta shakim kovar tapto bhajatam swadharmataha. So Prabhupada is taking a different point here. He is telling that one who has forsaken his occupation to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down, but there is no loss. He will come back to it. So now he is Prabhupada is telling, if one somehow or other comes to the shelter of a great Vaishnava, take to Krishna consciousness because of sentiment or realization, but in course of time falls down because of immature understanding, he is not actually fallen. For his having engaged in Krishna consciousness, it is a permanent asset. If one falls down, therefore his progress may be checked for certain time, but it will again become manifest at an appropriate moment. So here this is actually what happened to Priyavat Maharaj. Although Priyavat Maharaj was serving according to the instructions Narada Muni meant for going back to Godhead, he returned to material affairs at the request of his father. In due course of time, however, his consciousness for serving Krishna reawakened by the grace of spiritual master Narada Muni. So here Prabhupada is telling that out of 30 devotees, only 4 are agreeing. Majority is not agreeing with my point. So I'll explain what Prabhupada is telling. Only 4 devotees agreed with the point. So in majority, we are in a democratic country, so I have to go with majority. So if majority agrees with the point, then I will definitely take it. So here I will explain what Prabhupada is telling. Prabhupada also is telling very nice points. So he says that as stated in Bhagavad Gita, one who has fallen from the process of bhakti is again offered the opulence of the demigods, and after enjoying such opulence, he is given a chance to take birth in the noble family of a pure brahmanas or in rich families, to be given the chance to revive his Krishna consciousness. This actually happened in the life of Priyavrat. He is a most glorious example of this truth. In due course of time, he no longer wanted to enjoy material opulence and his wife, kingdom, sons. Instead, he wanted to renounce them all. Therefore, after having described the material opulence of Maharaj Priyavrat, Sukadeva Goswami in this verse described his tendency for renunciation. So Priyavrat Maharaj got renunciation. So the word okay. Now we got some more votes in the agree. Okay, I'll tell. See, I will complete this purport and tell why Priyavrat got realization, why Priyavrat got intense intense in devotional service and realization why we are not getting. We'll try to understand that aspect. I'll complete this purport and tell that point. See what? Daivi Devarishi Charanara Charananu Shayana indicates. So here Prabhupada is giving the answer. Don't worry. Here indicates that Maharaj Priyavrat, having fully surrendered to great sage Devarishi Narada, was strictly following all the devotional progress and regulative principles under his direction. In regard to strictly following regulative principles, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, Dandavat pranam stan anupatitaha. Dandavat pranamas. By immediately offering obeisances, Dandavat, unto the spiritual master, and by strictly following his direction, the student becomes advanced. Privat was doing all these things regularly. So this is the first secret. First thing, how for a grihastha to come out of this entanglement, what is things? This regulation is important. What is that regulation? Offering obeisances to Guru. Very simple act only. No need to do big things. Every day when you are doing Mangalarti, do with full consciousness. When you are doing Samsara Dava, when you wake up and go to Guru Maharaj photo, altar, and with very sincere heart tell, please help me come out of it, come out of these things, and we should have a desire to come out of it. So first thing I'll write for you. First thing is, we are getting this understanding that this is a place of suffering. So now we know this is a place of suffering, but what we are not having now, first is we don't have the strong desire. So this one thing is what is needed. We need a strong desire to come out of it. So how to cultivate this desire? So this is, and every day morning we have to go and pray to Guru. Just to do only one thing in a regular. See what Priyavrat Maharaj did not do anything. He was doing his family activities only. But he did one thing. What he did? He immediately offering obeisances unto spiritual master by strictly following this direction. That's all. Go to Guru every day morning and offer obeisances. We say, Prabhuji, I am offering, but it is not with consciousness. What is that consciousness? Praying, let me come out of it. Just do this one thing regularly, going to Guru, my dear Guru Maharaj, please let me come out of this suffering of this material world. That is actually the prayer. What happens now? We sing Sansara Dava, but we don't put the first line. It starts like that only. Sansara Dava Nalalita Loka Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunanavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanaranda. He says, he is helping me come out of it. So we had to pray, please help me come out of it. That's all. So here one thing is, it is not just the action, it is the desire that matters. So we need to have a strong desire. So immediately what happens? The suffering turns into realization. Then only it turns into realization. So sadhana we discussed previously also. It is Dirgha Kala and Satkara Nirantara. So it should be for a long time, it should be every day, and it should be with consciousness. This is the most important. So if we are not able to do chanting and all very consciously, but at least pray to Guru Maharaj consciously, that is very much possible. That's why we have this Mangalarti. So Prabhupada is immediately quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So as long as one is in the material world, he has to be under the influence of modes of material nature. It is not that Maharaj Privat was free from material influence. Because he possesses all material opulence in this material world, both the poor man and the very rich man are under the influence. For both wealth and poverty are the creations of modes of material nature. See, you may think, Array, only just offering obeisances to Guru, that itself is sufficient. Only who can help us to come out? Guru can help us to come out. And when he will make us come out, we just have to ask him. We pray to him. That's all. This we should do in a regulated way. And what happens now? We start feeling that we start feeling that emotional connect should be there to Guru. Guru is not just we have to be always with him. We'll pray to him and pray to his photo. Prabhupada is there, our initiating Guru is there. Pray to them and Guru Puja and Guru Vandana. That's all. Simple. We will immediately. Main is emotional connection. To Guru. So when we do feelingly, we develop this connection. Then what happens na? Our emotional connection to material things will reduce. Automatically it starts reducing. Because we are developing what emotions? These are Sharanagati emotions. And these are material emotions. So then what happens? Whenever we get suffering, we get detachment. Whenever we get suffering, our sadhana will get intense because we are feeling that connection to Guru. That is the only key for us. Except the Guru is such a important factor. People don't understand the importance. Some more things I'll share tomorrow. Definitely, we are out of time. Any questions, comments till now? Okay, thank you all very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.